Hello out there. I know you tuned in to listen to two dudes on the radio, but that's not what today's show is at all. Shana, would you like to tell them what today's show is?
Yes, today's show and subsequent shows like it will be called Three People in a Blanket Fort Talking About Star Wars.
Yeah. I mean, if you follow us on Instagram and Facebook, you would have seen the picture about Shana in this magnificent blanket fort that I am very proud of building. Not going to lie. I'm very proud of
this soundproof chamber.
It's getting kind of hot.
It is very hot. What's that, a female in our presence? Shana, there's a female in our presence.
Hence the reason we don't call it two dudes in a blanket fort.
That's true. You want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Holly.
That's right. We got my wife to join, mainly because she was here when we watched it, and I felt bad leaving her out.
Yeah.
Wow. I can leave right now.
Yeah, pretty much. So, this exclusive YouTube show, all right? We're talking about Star Wars, all right? However, here's what we're going to do. We're watching it in chronological order, okay? So starting with 1, and we're going to include Rogue One and Solo.
Yeah.
That's what the name of it, yeah, and Solo. And then we'll finish with episode 9, all right? So that's what we're doing in this exclusive YouTube series of 3 people in a blanket fort talking about Star Wars. Now, Shana, you're pretty knowledgeable about movies and background info.
Yay.
Right? So you're pretty much going to be supplying that field and also your opinion and whatnot. Holly, I don't know what you're going to be doing.
She has
Not
the
gonna
trivia.
lie.
I have the trivia and list of the cast.
Oh, there you go. There you
Talk about
go.
the cast and how they did since I'm an actress myself.
Oh, there you go. See, expert opinion.
People add things to the show.
I knew why I had you. Okay, and
true.
I have all the plot points. So that's what we're going to be doing for the show. So let's just jump in,
Yeah.
So our movie, of course, episode 1, The Phantom Menace, which you told me Phantom Menace is referring to.
Oh, yeah. Disclaimer. If you somehow still haven't seen
Okay,
The Phantom Menace, spoiler alert.
Major spoiler alert.
If you were that behind.
We're cracking this thing wide open, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, so The Phantom Menace, I believe, refers to the bad guy, Darth Sidious. Because, he always looks like a ghost on his holograms. He looks like a phantom.
What do you mean you believe? You said that you knew that.
I believe it to be true.
What is that supposed to mean?
It means I'm pretty sure.
You made it sound like originally, like, oh, you knew this from the group forums.
Do or
He's
do
like,
not.
disclaimer,
There is no
I'm only
absolute.
pretty
I messed
sure.
that up. There are no absolutes. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. That's
Fine,
a quote
you
from
got
the
me.
movies.
Fine,
Did
you
you
got
say
me.
do or do not?
Do or do not. There is no absolutes.
You're not wrong.
All right, so we're going to start off with the beginning of the movie, very adequate place. Let's just talk about the. Do we want to start with the opening scene? Do we have anything else to say before that?
Let's do some background information.
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
This movie was released in 1999.
Which blew my mind. I thought it was like early 2000s.
Yeah, so it was released the same year I was born, and it is the beginning of the prequel trilogy, which takes place before the original Star Wars movies that were released, and kind of tells you everything that happened up to that point.
Pretty much. So, well, I mean, there's more before that, but this is like the main events happening before The New Hope.
Yeah.
They had a $115 million budget.
$115 million to make this, and I mean, it shows too.
I mean, I would hope so. Yeah, it does really show.
Box office made $1.027 billion.
That's a good.
That's a good chunk.
Buyback, yeah.
I mean, yeah. All right. Which is actually, speaking of the budget, I'm going to jump forward a little bit. I love the CGI in this film. I know for the time, like 1999, it was amazing. Fantastic.
Upon closer inspection, I realized some of the flaws in it. Like, if you look at Jar Jar, he doesn't look as nice as I remember him looking.
Well, like when you're a kid, like
Everything
when we've
looks
seen
better when
it.
you're a
Like,
kid.
yeah, exactly. Everything looks better, but like it's still it doesn't look bad. Like,
For what it was,
aged
yeah.
horribly
Yeah.
at all.
It was pretty impressive still for 1999.
Yeah. Anyways, so opening film or scene of this film. Sorry, the rolling credits. Let's go there. One of you made this comment. I forget who it was, but like the opening credits make it seem like a really boring movie about trade.
Yeah, it seems like the whole movie's going to be about politics, which, I mean, if you watch the original Star Wars films, actions, lasers, spaceships, imagine you're a fan in 1999. Like, you watched all 3 of the original movies, and you go in and the first thing in the rolling credits isn't the Empire or, shooting. It's
the Federal Trade Federation.
the Trade Federation is blocking off trade and taxing people really high. Like, it's not a good...
blockade. Like, yeah, no, not very exciting.
Yeah,
things.
it's not a good beginning.
So I can see why people already had a negative connotation, like when they first like came in.
Yeah, I don't go to these movies to learn about taxes.
True. So then we get to the opening scene, which I think makes a complete 180 from that beginning sequence.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
it's pretty action filled pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Which I think is like one of the best scenes in the entire movie, not gonna lie. Is that just that first opening scene?
I wouldn't say that, but it ranks up there. It kind of gives you a sense of mystery. So the two people coming in, you know they're Jedi if you've seen the film before. Even if you hadn't, their cloaks kind of give it away. And you get this anticipation because at this point, again, we have to look at this through the lens of someone who's never seen Star Wars before, or at least has never seen the new stuff.
Yeah, so we're trying to do this like I said, we're going to start watch these in chronological order. So we're going to try and think of these like someone's going to watch them from 1 to 9, not like 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3, and then 7, 8, 9. So
this is definitely our take on it, but as reference, Rotten Tomatoes rates this at 52%.
oh boy.
I mean, that's
That's good.
It could be worse.
Okay, but IMDb also 6.5 out of 10, which again could be worse.
If
It
you
could
don't
be.
know,
It's not
people really hated the second trilogy, like the 1, 2 through
prequels.
3. People
Yeah.
really hate that.
They're
when it first came
almost universally hated.
out. Almost.
There are some of us that like it.
We'll get to that later.
Okay, fine.
But
Anyways,
We'll get to that
opening scene, it kind of gives you the sense that these guys are powerful. You know, like they're just cloaked figures. They don't show their faces.
yeah.
And then, you know, you find out that Liam Neeson is in this. All of a sudden, like he takes off his cloak, and there he is, Liam Neeson. I'm a big Liam Neeson fan.
Liam Neeson is a one-of-a-kind actor.
Definitely.
Well, maybe not one of a kind because a lot of people no one does what Liam Neeson does. Like, there's a lot of actors that like play the action guy role, but like no one does it like Liam Neeson. Sorry,
Liam Neeson.
I got that wrong. Liam Neeson.
I like Liam Neeson.
Anyways, when originally as a kid when I watched it, I never liked Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn. But watching it now, I haven't seen the Phantom Menace in a while. But watching it now, I think I hated him a little too much. Not gonna lie, I liked him a little more, even though he made some questionable decisions, like we'll get to later. But I don't dislike him as much as I have in the past.
I think he does a really good job of portraying what a Jedi is supposed to be like.
Yeah.
His calm demeanor, just doing everything out of necessity, not out of hate or malice.
Which is kind of, I don't say a bit different than what it showed in the original prequel. Like, Luke was very sporadic.
Luke wasn't properly trained.
This is also very true.
So he technically was a Jedi in, like, name only. He was a Jedi, but he wasn't a Jedi in the sense that we're looking at them right now.
I guess we should compare more to Obi-Wan than Luke.
Yeah, Luke's a bad example. He was unique.
Yeah, I guess it should be more compared to Obi-Wan, which even then, it just seems... I don't know. Something didn't sit right with me with Obi-Wan, with Neeson when I was younger, but now
I'm biased.
I'm better at terms.
I'm biased. I like Liam Neeson.
Fair enough. Okay.
I like him.
Okay, so we go from the opening scene to where what is next in the movie? There's a lot that happens in this movie. A lot of like scene changes and like
points. But next, I think we start dealing with the politics of everything, with the Queen and the Senate.
Oh yeah, so the Jedi go rescue the Queen
trading.
from the Federation, and they go to court. Oh no, sorry, they stop by Naboo.
Yes.
Which is there anything else I wanted to bring up between then?
Well, they try to talk to the Trade Federation first.
Oh yeah, let's talk about the droids.
I like them.
They really like this is the enemy right right in the beginning of the movie. In that episode, like this is their enemy. These are the new stormtroopers, pretty much.
And shooty laser robots.
Yeah. Now, important question: who shoots worse, droids or stormtroopers?
Stormtroopers.
Yeah, definitely stormtroopers, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The droids are somehow better.
Well, that's because they're robots.
I mean, yeah.
Robots have less room for error than humans do.
Which I didn't understand why George Lucas went with that decision.
To use robots?
Well, before the stormtroopers. Like, you think, like, oh, they started with stormtroopers and then the Empire upgraded to droids. But no, it's the other way around. They downgraded the stormtroopers.
No, they didn't. They already had. The reason they have stormtroopers is because they already had an army going. So why would you redo an entire army? What are you going to do with all the clones that survive?
I mean...
It's jumping ahead a little bit, but if you want to know why, I would say it's because they already had the clones, so just Make them into stormtroopers.
Yeah, but if the droids are just better, they have the dough. Just start making out your own droid
Obviously,
armor.
they're not because the droids lost.
I mean, yes, but then the clones degrade to stormtroopers. Very weird jump. Anyways, moving on.
Then we meet one of the best characters in the entire film, Jar Jar Binks.
Oh my gosh, Jar Jar Binks.
Never has there been a more contended character in all of Star Wars, I think, than Jar Jar
He's
Binks.
probably the most well,
Even with the new trilogy and all the characters there, including
Yeah.
Rose that everyone hated, Jar Jar, I think, is still the most universally contended.
yeah, I think so. I was gonna say he's most controversial. Nah, he's not even controversial. It's just everyone hates him for the most part. I didn't hate him as a kid. I thought he was funny
Yeah, I
and it
mean-
brought great. But like watching it now, again after so many years, it's like, oh, stop. Like I don't need so many
the comedy effect kind
interruptions.
of wears off when you get older.
He made me cringe when I was 6, and he makes me cringe even worse now.
Okay, Holly doesn't like Jar Jar.
Nope.
Yeah, Jar Jar. I thought Jar Jar was okay, but now Jar Jar just is bad.
I'm mediocre with him. I dressed up as Jar Jar as a kid.
Really,
Yeah, I wish I could find the
Yikes.
pictures. I had a full rubber mask and everything.
you would dress up as Jar Jar.
Thank you, I think.
Even the parts where they try to make him look like he's doing cool stuff by accident are just so unrealistic.
It makes you. It
unreal.
lets you
The
know
whole
that it's
thing is
by
unrealistic.
accident.
Yeah, I know, but he's doing all of this stuff and somehow
What do you mean unrealistic? The whole thing is unrealistic.
it's too much.
I'm sorry the laser swords were
It's
too realistic
much.
for
he's,
you.
He's doing more by accident than the other of his tribe are doing on purpose.
That's fair.
Yeah. So same time like Jar Jar is being introduced, but you also get introduced to the Queen of Naboo, Queen Amidala, and again you brought up, but her hair. No, Holly, you brought this up. Her hair, her headdress thing, like I don't understand. Did you just break that?
No, I didn't break it. It's
paper clip?
ceremonial.
Okay.
The hair is ceremonial. That's why it's like that.
You had said that it's actually it's not actual hair. It's like fake hair with
Yeah. In universe, it's fake hair.
Oh, see, I never knew that.
Like the
Apparently
whole
it's a
thing
cat.
comes off.
So it's not real. They didn't actually grow their hair out that long. And
Yeah, no, that'd be ridiculous.
that would be ridiculous.
Not like Jar Jar.
What do we think about Queen Amidala? Now, obviously, this is the fake we're talking about, but like as a queen, was it
I think she
quote
did
unquote
fine.
reasonable?
I think she did fine as a queen.
Yeah, I think so too. I have no qualms
Yeah.
with her. And I actually like the fact that she was a decoy. I think that's
Yeah,
actually
it
a very
makes
smart
sense.
decision, especially in a world where I'm sure you could shoot with a sniper rifle like 10 miles away.
I mean, if you have someone that looks that close to you, why not?
Yeah,
Like, I mean, we can't do it in real life. Like, no one's going to look like exactly like the Queen of England. But if there were,
okay. So before we move, so like Natalie Portman, she plays the actual queen, right?
no, Natalie Portman, yeah, but she plays the
Yeah,
actual
she
queen.
plays
Actual
the
queen.
actual
Okay,
queen.
I thought Natalie Portman played in Pirates of the Caribbean. Apparently, those are two separate people.
Eddie can't tell the difference between Keira Knightley and Natalie Portman.
They look so similar.
They do not.
Yes, they do.
Never once have I saw Natalie Portman and went, Keira Knightley. I've always seen it be like, oh, that's Natalie Portman.
All right, fine, whatever. I think they look really similar.
Apparently George Lucas agrees with you.
I mean, they do. They look really similar. Anyways,
I mean, sure, if I
comment
was
you
wearing 3
think-
pounds of makeup, I'm sure I could look like you
No,
too.
if you do look them both up, it'll show you like side by sides of them. And to be fair, they do actually look very similar.
Yeah, thank you.
Take a look.
Comment in the
Okay, actually, yeah, I can see it now.
Yeah.
exactly. Thank you.
Okay, I
Let us know in the
changed my
comments
opinion.
below whether you think they look similar or not. Anyways, so yeah, great character overall. So then, let's see. They rescue, excuse me, the Jedi's rescue the Queen, and then they book the planet, get on a ship, and they escape, but they had to stop at Tatooine for
Because
parts.
their parts are damaged.
Their parts are damaged.
Also, we're jumping kind of through the plot here, but we're assuming if you're listening to this, you've seen the
Yeah,
Phantom
exactly.
Menace enough to know what we're talking about.
Oh, were we cool with how R2-D2 was like introduced?
Yeah, I don't
Oh
see
yeah,
why
I
not.
think that's a great way to introduce R2-D2.
Yeah, very
with him
casual
doing
way.
something great and being recognized by the Queen.
Yeah.
I thought that was a little weird, like recognizing a droid with no feelings.
It has
Well,
feelings.
I guess it has memories.
It has feelings. Haven't you watched
Yeah,
Star Wars?
Actually, no, you're right. Yeah, I'm dumb. R2 has feelings. What am I
Would you
saying?
recognize a dog that did like loyal service to you?
Yeah.
Exactly. We give medals to dogs.
With Queen Amidala only being 14 years old, they definitely portray her as a very mature individual. Which, I mean, she's trained to be the queen.
14?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could, like, barely put pants on at 14.
Oh, I'm sorry for you, Eddie.
At 14?
Well,
I guess 14 is a little older than I could barely. What's the better?
Eddie, I hope you could put pants on by like 5.
Bad example. What could I barely do at 14? I don't know.
it's a good thing Eddie wasn't the king of Naboo.
Oh,
Yeah.
I had no idea what I do with my life at 14. There we go. There we go. It's a good thing I
I
wasn't.
don't think she
Or
had a
other
choice
things, apparently.
what she was doing with her life at 14.
that's
They
true.
chose her.
Haha, you queen now. You serve us.
Basically.
Haha, child. Anyway, so they end up at Tatooine, and Qui-Gon goes in for parts. At,
Where we meet
Mos
Holly's
Eisley.
other favorite character.
Well, hold on. First of all, I want to talk about
That's where it
the
goes.
Qui-Gon has this very weird. Hold on. No, wait. Is that later? That's later. Sorry. Qui-Gon has this very weird obsession with bringing Jar Jar with him.
I
I
still
think.
repeat that my opinion why he brings Jar Jar is because he's more dangerous on the ship with the people who don't know what they're doing. Plus, Jar Jar also still owed him a life debt.
True. This is true.
So I would say he took him with him to avoid damaging the ship any further, and because he owed him a life debt.
I don't know. It just seems dumb. Like, just stick Jar Jar in like quarters where he can't mess with anything.
He would
I agree
still
with
mess
Eddie.
with something.
He would, but at least he
He
wouldn't.
owes him a life debt.
He wouldn't accidentally reveal like
Okay,
who the
so
queen
let's
was
say
or-
Qui-Gon walks into town and he suddenly has this thing he needs Jar Jar to do. He's not there. How's he going to fulfill his life debt now?
He's not going to trust Jar Jar with it.
Well, he has to trust him with something.
I mean, in fairness,
All right, whatever.
Jar Jar did help with repairing Anakin's ship. His speed
You mean his
racer.
speeder? No, he didn't.
He stuck his
He got
tongue in the
He got
coils.
his tongue in the coils. Got his hand
Before
stuck in the
that-
turbines. Almost lost
Oh, yeah,
a
he was helping
screwdriver.
her.
Before that, he was helping with something. I'm not sure what he was helping with, but he was helping.
I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I agree with you. He does more damage than he does help, but he tries.
That's the problem.
That's
So for
Anyways.
whatever reason, he takes
Right.
Jar Jar into town.
Also, he takes R2-D2, their most valuable possession at that point, but that's a whole different.
I could see
thing.
reasons for that.
Yeah, that at least
He's
has
a useful
At least
robot.
R2 is helpful. But
will he leave? Doesn't he leave him there?
no, he takes R2 with him.
Oh yeah, but he leaves C3.
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet.
Stay on
Yeah.
track.
So like when they first touch her down on Tatooine, Qui-Gon goes into Mos Eisley, right? Mos Eisley,
Yep.
right? Yeah, with Jar Jar, R2-D2, and then Padme also goes along too.
Yes, but at this point,
AKA
Qui-Gon does
Queen.
not know she's the queen, and he keeps dissing the queen, and it's really funny because you know who the queen is.
He doesn't diss her. He's just like,
Yes,
"Shut
he
up, lady.
does.
Listen to me."
You don't call that dissing her?
At one point, literally, like, the guy comes out, and he's like, the queen requests you take this person. He's like, no more requests from the queen today. He's like, that's it. I'm done listening to this tiny child. To be fair, if I had a 14-year-old telling me what to do, I might get a little irritated.
Yeah, as like a 52 or 50. Yeah, 50 sounds
I'd
right.
call him like 40, 50, yeah.
Yeah, 40, 50. That sounds right. All right.
Imagine if your life was dictated by a 14-year-old. And she was like, here, take this 14-year-old with you on your adventure. I'd get a little mad, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, so yes, they go to the Mos Eisley, and what's the flying blue guy's name?
Watto.
Watto?
Watto.
Okay. I like Watto.
He's a good character.
He's one of the best side characters
He's
in the
unique.
movie. One of the better things they did with the trilogy, IMO. Watto's great. Anyways, and then we meet the most influential character in all of Star Wars.
Yes. Played by the best actor they could bring.
Yeah.
Lloyd.
Jake Lloyd.
Oh, is that okay?
Yeah,
that's his
Jake
last name.
Lloyd.
Yeah, Jake Lloyd. I'm
Plays
sorry, guy.
Anakin Skywalker.
His first lines are you an angel?"
Actually, I think his first lines are in anher language.
Oh,
When he
yeah,
first
you're
comes in,
right.
but his first English
Sorry,
lines, yeah,
you're
are
right.
an attempt at flirting with Natalie Portman, 5 years older than him.
I mean, is it flirting? I mean, this kid's like how old? 8, 7?
I think if you tell someone
He's
you look
9.
like the most beautiful beings to ever exist in the galaxy, it's kind of flirting.
Well, there's a difference because, like, little kids, they don't know. Like, this kid is not developed, if you know what I'm saying.
Did you see the looks he was giving Padme? He was trying to flirt, as kids do.
Yeah, definitely. He's 9 years old.
Kids
was
like to
flirting.
flirt with older
Oh, he was 9?
kids like that.
Yeah, he was 9.
looked a lot younger than 9.
He was 9.
All right, whatever.
How would he operate a speed racer if he
That's
was younger than 9?
That's a whole different issue. Why is he operating it at 9?
Because he's a
smart.
Jedi.
He has the
Because he has
midichlorians. Sorry, I'm
midichlorians.
jumping ahead.
Okay, so then
Get there
we
later.
move into the scene where Qui-Gon asks for parts, and Watto wants to rip him off.
He only rips
one
them
of my
off. He
favorite
just doesn't
parts,
accept
though.
credits because they're not.
That's fair, yeah.
He
They're
tries
not
to
usable,
use-
which is fair.
Qui-Gon tries to use the Force to
Oh yeah,
to
Jedi mind
persuade.
trick.
Yeah, using Jedi
which
mind
you wouldn't
tricks.
think someone so weak to gambling would be susceptible, not non-susceptible to.
Okay, but it's weird. Here's what I noticed this watch through.
Okay. all
Is
right.
when he does the Jedi mind trick,
Right.
Watto says, "Why are you waving your hand like some kind of Jedi? Jedi mind tricks don't work on me." And then we never bring up the fact again that Watto now thinks he's a Jedi. Like later on when he rolls the dice, and did he not see Qui-Gon's hand
That's
move?
yeah. The die when they're about a pod race and Qui-Gon's trying to win Anakin's freedom. Yeah, you're right. Like,
So,
why
like-
didn't Watto think of that?
I mean, he is not the smartest cookie, but he's a gambler. Like, he knows what he's doing. He even says, like, you knew Anakin was going to win. Like, he knew he had some kind of influence.
Right.
But that's besides the point. So, they find out they don't have enough money for parts. They don't have anything they can sell.
So they trust everything with a 9-year-old boy who has never won a pod race.
Well, they don't know that yet.
They don't know that
He said
yet,
he's
but-
pod raced before, and he's got the, quote, fastest one there is, which I don't think you can call it that if for the majority of the race you're behind everyone.
Well, that's a whole different issue. I'll get to.
He never
we'll get to
even
later.
tried racing it before, so how would he know that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's never raced it before, so how does he know it's the fastest? And then why does Qui-Gon believe the 9-year-old? Like,
He has faith in him. So Qui-Gon senses. So they go back to Anakin's house because of a sandstorm, where you meet Anakin's mother, Shmi Skywalker.
Shmi, it's not Shmi.
I think it's Shimi. I think it's Shmi or Shimi.
Shmi sounds better, but okay.
And
Anyway.
she's nice enough. She's like your basic side character.
It's Shmi.
Shmi.
Is it?
There's only one I.
No, there isn't.
It's SHMI.
Really? Oh, I was wrong. You are correct. It is Shmi.
Shmi.
So, anyways, and she's a nice enough character.
She's nice.
She's very calm for suddenly her like 9-year-old son bringing home like a 50-year-old dude, like a 14-year-old girl, and Jar Jar Binks.
She's played by a
R2D2.
Swedish actress, by the way.
Fascinating.
That explains her accent, because her
yeah.
accent was a little. Her English
I didn't
was a little
notice.
off.
Oh yeah, I noticed. She definitely had an accent in the film.
So, anyways, they have dinner. Anakin reveals that he knows Qui-Gon's a Jedi. This is all like
Which wasn't
minor
that hard to
plot
figure
stuff.
out.
Yeah, I mean, he has a lightsaber. He has a laser
A
sword.
laser sword.
Because they don't know the word for lightsaber.
And the robes kind of, again, give it away.
Well, he wasn't wearing the. He had a big poncho over his.
I
robes.
guess.
He lifted it up like once to get something out of his pocket.
I guess, yeah. All right. Well, anyways, yeah. Discussion, and then
They
Qui-Gon
talk about
makes
the pod race.
Yeah, talk about the pod race, make the deal.
Which
and-
he's 9 years old, and I was making the comment during the movie. Why would anybody allow him to race? Like, I don't think Qui-Gon.
I don't think he had a choice at first. I think Watto made him race because he was his slave.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so then he
Watto
kind of
made
fell in
him.
love with it. And once you find out you can race, you're like, okay, I know I can do this now.
Yeah, but Qui-Gon wasn't completely certain of that.
Okay,
And
well,
the mother was dead. Like, I can't believe. Not dead, but she was
Wow.
like dead.
not
She was
there
dead,
yet.
Not there yet.
centered on him not racing for Qui-Gon. But then, like, she's like,
Oh yeah,
okay,
she changed her
fine.
mind real quick. That
Yeah,
was
it's like, I don't know.
I don't think Anakin was going to give her a choice. I
that
mean,
wasn't the best script choice though.
Well,
Yeah.
not
of a
the
sudden
important
she's
plot
like-
point. The important
Yeah,
plot
that's true.
point is Qui-Gon senses that Anakin has special powers. He can predict the future.
Because of a 9-year-old
He's got the midichlorians.
racing a dangerous race and not dying.
Exactly. So, and then, okay, here's the other weird thing. Anakin says, so they go back to their house, and it's dark, okay?
Right,
They're eating
okay.
dinner, and it's dark. And Anakin says, you can enter the race tomorrow evening. So then they leave,
Oh.
and they come back the next evening, and that's when he checks in for midichlorians. It's nighttime again, and then the second time after that is when they enter the race.
Well, hold on. Entering for the race and actually the date of the race are two different things. So, like, there's a date where you have to, like
okay.
by enter, they mean, like, get your name in
Oh, okay, that's fair.
and set a position for yourself.
And pay the credits.
And pay the credits. Yes.
So they enter the race, and They agree to make a crazy deal with Watto. It's like they wager their ship. And
Well, Qui-Gon's trying to make it so that, like, Watto takes it. He's trying to swing the deal as much as possible, which is smart.
Because he knows his weakness is gambling.
Right.
So then Qui-Gon deals with the whole Jedi problem by checking Anakin for midichlorians, which were introduced just for this series and is our contention point. But I think it was necessary because you needed to know how powerful Anakin is. Because no one's going to believe this 9-year-old's more powerful than Yoda.
All right.
Yeah.
Unless you give them a quantitative number. Like, no one's going to say, like, oh, he's got more force. Like, yeah, okay, that sounds fine. But if you tell them he's got 20,000 midichlorians.
All right. Shaner. You want to know another series that does something like that?
Tell me.
Dragon Ball Z.
I've never seen it.
Is this an anime?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what?
I haven't seen it.
No. Star Wars an anime.
Oh, I thought you were
Sorry,
asking
no.
something
Yeah. Star Wars an anime.
No.
Is Star Wars all about power? Being the most strongest?
Yes.
Oh,
Basically, the whole point is that Anakin's the strongest. That's the whole thing. That's what makes him the chosen one.
They could have done it so much better. Like,
How?
okay, the Force isn't measurable. That's the whole point of it. It's supposed to be something that you can't measure. That's one of the main things about it.
Then how are we
Yeah,
supposed
but the
to
affinity
know?
to using the Force.
That's true. However, they could have demonstrated that in a multitude of other ways.
Like,
And how you can't be sure that someone's stronger than Yoda just from off the bat.
if you have more midichlorians, you're more powerful.
That's like
What's so
saying-
hard about
Just like
that?
if you have more muscles, you're stronger.
Yeah.
That's like no. This is different because muscle you have to train. Anakin hasn't trained it all, so
but
that's
he's
like
got the potential.
Mm-hmm.
It's like saying
you
some
can't tell
people-
someone's potential though at that young of an age, at 9. That's
Obviously
like saying
they can because they
to-
kidnapped them.
What's a good example?
And other Force users can sense the Force in people.
Yeah, he was obviously able to sense
Okay,
Anakin had a
here's a
lot of
good one.
power.
So, do we all know who LeBron James is?
Who?
Yeah, who's that? What?
Yes, I know who LeBron James is.
Okay, good.
Duh.
That's like saying, like, telling LeBron James as a 9-year-old kid, hey, because of your blood type and what we found is your blood, you're going to be better than Michael Jordan. Not saying that he is better, but you're going to be close to it. That's a whole different conversation. I'm not
But
trying
they
to get
can look
into.
at his parents and be like, oh, they're tall. He's going to be tall.
That tall doesn't mean anything. Just because you're tall doesn't mean you're good at basketball.
It kind of
But a
helps.
lot.
It helps. It helps, but it doesn't determine that. All right?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, but we're not talking about a game here. We're talking about his powers built into his body.
It's the same idea. Like,
It's
you
not the
can't
same. No
measure
one's
someone's
born-
potential
No one's
by
born
their
with
blood sample.
No one's born with like basketball powers put in them at first.
Yeah.
No, but they're born. Well, that's talent. But again,
not-
you
no,
can't
this is a completely
measure
different thing.
talent.
Yes, you
All right,
can.
so let's think
I'm
of it
sorry,
this way.
metachlorians.
Some people
Okay.
are have perfect tune where they can, or perfect pitch. That's what
Okay,
it's called.
fine. All right.
Where they can, without hearing it,
Okay, right.
they can just sing a note and
Okay,
it'll be correct.
okay. But you can't measure that into someone being an amazing singer.
Sinner. Wow. You have perfect pitch.
You're a sinner.
You're a perfect sinner.
No, you can't translate. Just because someone can do that doesn't mean make them like one of the best singers of all time. It
definitely
automatically
gives them-
shows that they have talent.
It makes it. They have more potential. Though.
They do have more potential, but that doesn't automatically make them the most best singer ever. Okay?
Okay, look
They
at
does
it.
not
have
Like,
one of the
translate.
best ears for music, though.
okay, but you
Okay,
have to look at this
true.
is genetics,
Wait.
though. This isn't like ability and talent. This is genetics. So if you look at a child who's got
Okay.
both parents have blonde hair, blue eyes,
Okay.
they have
right.
more of a potential to have blonde hair, blue eyes.
Yes, potential, but that's not actually reality.
But they have more of a potential.
But that it could not happen because it's probability. It's not actual facts. Midichlorians are stating an actual fact that, hey, this kid is stronger without a doubt, okay?
It gives him more of a connection to the Force. What's so hard about that?
And he wasn't saying the kid's more powerful, just saying that the kid has more potential than even Yoda
Yeah, if he
does.
would have just stayed on the planet, he probably wouldn't have gotten any stronger as a Jedi. Mm-hmm. He probably would have just been little Anakin who can sometimes see the future.
I mean,
So
true.
yeah,
Yes.
you can. It's potential. That's what you've been saying this whole time.
Yes, but again, as a 9-year-old kid, you can't compare a 9-year-old kid to an actual master. Like, you just can't.
They didn't say he was stronger. They
Just
said he
that
had
he
more
had-
midichlorians, which was
Right,
crazy.
which means no.
Which
Obi-Wan
means he
literally
has the
said
potential to
More
have
genetic
more of a
potential.
connection.
no. The metachlorine no. The measure means that he does have more of a connection. Like he can attain that.
Right.
Yeah,
Like the
the
bar
potential.
has been set. Okay.
Yes.
You can't do that for anything else.
Sure
you can't
you
do that in
can.
sports. That's not possible. Like
Okay, let's look at your basketball example again.
Okay,
You
sure.
have two kids who are twins, but you split them up at birth, okay?
all right.
Both the exact same everything. They're practically the same person. They're
Sure,
so close.
okay.
But you give one of those players to be raised by Michael Jackson and one of those players to be raised by some random guy. I meant Michael Jordan. Shut up. No, you know what? One of those to be raised by Michael Jackson and one to be raised by Michael Jordan.
there you go.
Which one is going to have more potential?
Well, Michael Jordan.
Exactly. But
Wait,
they're the,
Michael Jackson.
I think that the example made sense when I started saying it somehow connects back to your comment.
Okay, yes, you know which one's going to be trained more,
Mm-hmm.
but again, you can't. It's not measurable. There's nothing measurable about that
Okay,
scenario.
I know where I was going with
okay?
that point now.
There's nothing measurable.
That yes, it is. You can measure that the one who was given to Michael Jordan and trained by Michael Jordan would be more because starting off he had more of an advantage.
Okay, yes, but that's because of someone he's training with, not due off of something measured in this kid that is going to tell everyone that he's going to be amazing. That's because he's with
But
Michael
it's just
Jordan.
the example
That's
that he
different.
started off with more. It's kind of like comparing Yoda and Anakin again. Like if you just look at their base, one has more midichlorians. That means he's going to be stronger if he has the proper training.
Potential
Anyways,
plus
The training isn't the
equals
issue.
power.
It's the fact that you can measure. The force is now measurable according to.
I think at this point we're
midichlorians.
rambling about midichlorians, and we still have like another hour of this movie
Yeah.
to get
So
through.
yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Comment if you want us to do a whole episode on midichlorians.
I don't want to do a whole episode on midichlorians.
I do. That sounds
Comments.
interesting.
I don't want to
would
think.
do
All
that.
right,
Comment.
fine. Comment if you want.
It's up to the people, Eddie.
Fine, you're right.
Yeah, we're a democracy here.
We are.
And the blanket.
She's
fort.
not even the two dudes.
She's not the one voting.
This isn't
is
two
true.
dudes anymore.
It's two dudes anymore. Is that me and the
It's
boys?
three
Anyways,
people
all
under
right,
18
fine.
Through whatever this is.
So yeah,
Not the first time.
midichlorians, whoop-de-doo. All right, so then
Anakin's got more midichlorians, so they take him with him.
pretty much, yeah, they win the pod race.
Yeah,
You're
they
jumping
bet-
ahead a bit.
Sorry.
Yeah, so the race comes by, the race day comes up. Qui-Gon's like, hey, I want the kid. And Walter's like, no. And Qui-Gon's like, bet. He's like, all right, fine. Very, very short version.
Yeah,
But
that's
anyways,
basically what happens. So
Yeah.
they bet, and if he wins the race, if Sebulba's the other always winning racer, the number one
Yeah.
seed to win. If he
Which-
doesn't win, he gets Anakin.
like, as this movie continues, excuse me, that's attractive. As the movie continues, the odds and odds of Anakin winning are, like, shut down. And, like, Qui-Gon's acting like, oh, it's fine. Anakin's going to win. But, like, Padme's like the actual sensible one. He's like, are you kidding me, guy? Like,
Trust in the Force. So the pod race
whatever.
happens, and it's a pretty good scene. It's
I-
action-packed. There are actual stakes. You know Anakin's gonna win,
well, yeah, obviously.
but it's still a little like action-packed. It's
I
still a
like
little tense.
the pod, I like the scene. However, I don't like the race, how the race was done itself. Because racing, gosh, my throat today. I'm going to steal this if you don't mind.
Okay. I like that they had him stall at the beginning.
That was dumb. There's no way he would
Why
have
is that
won.
dumb?
He built the thing
He had a
himself.
really-
You're hitting the wire.
fast.
Don't hit the wire.
Imagine a 9-year-old building a race car and expecting it to work perfectly right out of the gate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you kind of do expect that.
If a 9-year-old built it,
Oh, well, yeah, true. Fair enough. All right.
I mean, he was like talented,
Well,
but he
that's
wasn't.
no.
that
That's
talented.
not what I'm. That's not the fact that he stalled. It's the fact that he stalled and then won. Even though Sebulba had no issues whatsoever, like he wasn't slowed at all. Like race car, actual vehicles don't work like that. You
But
can't just.
Sebulba was interested.
Sebulba didn't just win. Sebulba exploded. Like his whole pod
Well,
fell
yeah, but the
apart.
entire time he was ahead, he wasn't stopped, he wasn't hindered, which means that his speed never Well, I shouldn't say never
I disagree.
decreased.
He was very focused on messing everyone else up.
Okay,
I think
maybe
that
they were
could have
traveling
slowed
at
him
a
down a
faster
little.
speed. Okay, fine. The main issue here, so there's one scene where it's just Anakin and Sebulba. Like, those are the main two racers left, all right? And Anakin creeps his way up to Sebulba's pod racer, and then they just kind of stop and go at the same speed. Vehicles
they were locked together.
No. Before that. Before they were locked in.
What do you mean?
So, like, okay, Sabal was racing, then Anakin kind of zips up behind him. They come side to side, but then Anakin's pod racer just stops, and they kind of just go at the same speed.
I think I've got your answer. That final scene where they're doing that is a straightaway. You have to look at before. If you're driving a car and you're going 90 miles an hour down a straightaway, if you hit a sudden turn or, like, you have to swerve, you slow down a little bit.
Right.
So, I would argue that the whole time that they're not going the same speed is they're swerving to miss things and swerving around turns, but when they get on a straightaway, you just flat out let it
Well, true,
go
but
as fast.
Anakin, that scene happened during the straightaway. So what happened, if my memory serves me right? So you have Sebulba in the front and then Anakin behind. And then Anakin kind of comes up, goes to the right, which should slow him down technically because of change of... And then goes a little straight to meet up with Sebulba, but then they stop. Like, they're going the same speed. But that logic, Anakin should have just, like, zoomed right past him.
Well, why should you have zoomed right past him?
Because
Because speeders weren't the same speed.
Well, that was shown because of Anakin's speeder. Like, Anakin was obviously at the beginning faster than Sebulba, but all of a sudden they stopped. Like, vehicles don't work like that. They don't just, like, run out of juice and can't go the same speed anymore.
I think this is one of those scenarios you're going to have to chalk up to being a plot point.
It's a dumb plot point.
But it's a plot point. It had to work for the plot.
But you just could have reworked it.
They could have, and that's a great theme for these movies, is you could have done this better, but you didn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. Just, I don't,
That's
that's
a
not how
theme
it
for
works.
this entire original trilogy is you could have done that better, but you didn't.
Like,
Put that on a t-shirt. That's another one of those t-shirt quotes.
That's my issue. So moving on, Anakin wins.
Yeah.
Big whoop. He's free. They get their parts, and they're on the way. It enters Darth Maul.
Yes, Darth Maul.
How do we feel like the character by Darth? Sorry, go ahead.
Played by Ray Park, who did all of his own stunts.
Really?
All that flying around you see and stuff, that's all Ray Park.
Dang.
Yeah.
Quite the athletic
He even
guy.
came back and played Darth Maul again when he reappears in Clone Wars. As a cartoon, he came in and did the motion capture
Okay.
for him, which shows because he was amazing. Ray Park's great.
So the question is he actually a ballerina?
Yeah, he could be. So anyways, enter Darth Maul.
Well, hold on.
Wait.
So, is Ray Park playing?
He's the voice and the suit. He's everything. Like, everything you saw with Darth
Well,
Maul
no,
was
that's
all Ray
not
Park.
what I'm getting at.
He's also Scottish.
Great, Holly. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What did he also? Was he also Maul in the end of Solo?
No, okay. I think he was the physical appearance, but from everything from the Phantom Menace on, Darth Maul ended up being taken over by different voices, the most popular being... Did you ever play the Force Unleashed games?
No, but I know of.
Holly, did you play the Force Unleashed games?
No.
Okay. The main character in that is the actor's name is Sam Witwer, and he's
Okay.
done a lot of voice work, and he is the second most popular character person associated with Darth Maul because he did the voice work
Okay.
and did really good. So no, at the end of Solo, I think you're hearing Sam Witwer, but in physical appearance, I believe that's Ray Park. Maybe.
Interesting.
So, but all the
Okay.
action scenes and stuff, all
Okay.
Ray Park. Like, he didn't have a stuntman.
All right. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, Darth Maul. How do we feel about him as a character?
He's great. I mean, he doesn't talk too much. He's a loyal apprentice, and he kills Jedi.
And he looks scary as heck.
Yeah.
He's a great character.
I think so.
Yeah. I wish he was one of those characters that you wish you knew more of, but like,
You find out more if you dive deeper.
I mean, in the movie, Shaner, not in
Fine.
little kids'
If you want to
animation
stick just to the
shows.
movies, yeah, you wish you could learn more about him. And then they said, here's a way to learn more about him. And you went, nah.
He shouldn't have survived that fall. He got
don't know
cut in
that.
half and
You
fell
don't know
down
what's at the bottom
over
of that pit.
5. No.
They just broke up the details.
You don't know what's the bottom of that pit. It could be like a pillow.
They cut
Probably
those
isn't.
details in half.
Even if he falls on a pillow falls over 10 feet, I still think he's gonna die.
Yeah, he fell onto a pillow. That's
That
fine.
thing was way below. That hole was way
Maybe he just
deeper
kept falling.
than 10
Maybe that-
stories.
He was like bumping against. Wasn't
that
he?
too. It
No.
was like bumping against
Okay,
the
you know what?
sides.
Luke survived a fall like that.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he jumped off of that thing in episode 5 and just falls down until eventually he falls into a tube.
The Millennium Falcon was like, oh, you mean...
Before he goes out onto the pole, which is
Oh, well, no, he shouldn't have survived that either, but,
Yeah.
you know. Plot points. You know,
He's
gotta
not
make
just a
things-
normal person, Eddie. He's tougher.
But, okay.
Okay, all of them survived the fall
Alright,
from that
whatever.
platform during the last fight.
Alright, fine, whatever. Anyways, back to the present topic. Darth Maul, great character, wish we learned more. Not disappointed at all.
He means in this movie.
In this movie. So wait, hold on. So Qui-Gon fight with Darth Maul. The Sith are back. They jump on the ship and then they go to Coruscant, right?
Yep, home of the Jedi Temple,
Da da da.
where we get more politics.
More politics.
This prequel trilogy really deals with the politics.
which
of
I
everything,
understand more now as a person,
right?
and not as
As
a
an
kid.
adult? As a
As a
person,
person?
not a kid.
I was not a person as
Not
a
as
child.
what were you before?
Not a person. I can. A child. Have you ever seen that meme? Not meme. The Vine where they're like.
Child.
Yeah. What's worse than the rapist? A child. Anyways,
I believe that's the first time rapist has been said on Two Dudes on a Radio. Good job.
first. What's that? Do you know what that film's from? What's that Vine from?
I don't know. Vine?
Well, I know it's from Vine, but they had that wasn't just that had to come from like a movie.
I don't know.
All right, fine, whatever.
We're divulging from the topic of
You're right. Sorry. So
Star Wars
Coruscant
politics.
and politics. I don't know. Like the politics was interesting because it kind of gave a better idea as to like the world, but like
You don't go to Star Wars to watch politics.
right.
You go to Star Wars to see things being blown up. And I know it adds, like you said, that's world building and nuance.
Mm-hmm.
But no one went into this movie going like, yeah, show me the Galactic Senate. Yeah, show me the trade deals, man. Woo!
Yeah, trade.
Forget Darth Vader. I want to see them negotiating. That's where it's at, man.
I mean,
It shows the Queen fall right into the plan of Palpatine, though.
Yeah, that's
which-
the other thing. Sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
That's okay. I was just going to say, which is an interesting plot point.
Yeah, so Palpatine is very clever in this. If you actually know what's going on, he's very clever.
mm-hmm.
Every action he took was calculated and made to move everything forward.
Yeah. Which, fact about Palpatine, I like in like this trilogy, like they blatantly like tell you pretty much through like clues. They're like who is who, like through like little musical change. You know that Anakin's gonna turn into Darth Vader, and like you can tell with like just how Darth Sidious looks and sounds. Oh, that's Palpatine. Like
Right.
that big old honker of a nose. Like there's no mistaking it in voice. And then, like, in the newest trilogy, everyone's like, oh, who's Rey? We don't know who this is. Oh, my
Well,
gosh.
to be fair, this was taking place before everything you already knew. So they had to...
Well, no. They were, like, even by watching this movie, you can tell, like, who's going to be who.
Yeah, but they had no basis for Rey. She was completely new. So it wasn't like, who's Rey, like, who's she
I
going to
see
turn
what you're
into?
saying.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, she was like, who's Rey, like, who is this character at all?
All right,
Like, you knew Sidious and Palpatine were the same guy, so you knew where that was going to end up. But with Rey, you had no idea. But we can get more into Rey when we talk
All
about...
right, that's like 10 movies. Not 10. It's like 8 movies.
Because people watching these films have the base of 4 through 6 already.
No, you're right. That's true. I didn't think about that. Anyways, so yeah.
Politics stuff happened. That's all you need to know. If you've seen the movie, you know, basically, the guy who's in charge right now isn't doing anything, so Palpatine's like, hey,
'Cause of
what if
bureaucrats.
I were in charge? And everyone's like, yeah, sure, okay.
Sounds great.
And then he's in charge. That's all you need to know.
Pretty much.
Then the Queen decides, I want to go back to my planet and free it from this invasion that's
And
happening.
who do we ask for help? Jar Jar.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so they go back to the planet, they take the Jedi, and the Jedi bring Anakin and Jar Jar. Which, to be fair, it's a good thing they brought Jar Jar. Otherwise,
yeah,
they'd have
because
no
that's
army.
their connection.
Yeah,
Why did they bring
at that
Anakin?
point.
They should have just left him on Coruscant.
Because where is he going to do on Coruscant? He can't be in the
Chill.
Jedi Temple.
Just chill there.
Where?
Qui-Gon has money. Just
Does
rent him out.
He's a Jedi.
Yeah, he's a Jedi. He has like all the money from the council, whatever money they make.
I don't think their council funds were allocated to...
They have
keeping
to
it-
have safe houses.
All they had was the promise of credits that was seen when they were on Tatooine.
Well, yeah, because that's all he had at the moment. But
No,
I'm
he
sure
didn't even say he had, like, I'm good for the credits. Like, I don't even think he had credits. If he did, they weren't. It wasn't very much.
I still the Jedi would have had like a safe house or something. They could have kept
By that
him.
logic, why do you bring a kid along in any movie? The Last of Us.
Well, The Last of Us is like a zombie apocalypse. That's a little different.
It's why would you bring a kid along in this situation? Because there was good reasons.
They could have brought him to Dantooine, I guess, but
So
we weren't introduced to that. And that
anyways, they bring him to Tatooine.
Yes, bring them to Tatooine.
No, not Tatooine, to Naboo.
Oh,
They go back to Naboo.
Yeah, Naboo. And they confront the Gungans. Which think about Gungans. I forgot to mention this earlier, but why do people based in water need a city to survive from water?
Because you don't want to be swimming everywhere.
But if they're a water-based people, then why do they need?
They're not
like,
just
have
water-based
water-free?
people. They're both. But like, can you imagine sitting in a chair underwater?
Well, they wouldn't need a chair underwater. They could just sit on the floor.
You just want to swim through the coral?
And yes, they could use a chair because you do have gravity in water, so you wouldn't need a chair.
If you're not holding your breath.
Or like have it like part water, because like you think like their skin would dry out or something without the water.
Well, you think
they're
then
like, again, a
that whole battle
water-based
wouldn't have
people.
that whole battle wouldn't have worked then. I think they're more amphibious than most amphibians we know today, because most of them have to go back into the water. But they're like turtles.
I guess. All right, whatever.
I
We'll go
mean,
with that.
if you think about it, their underwater city, although it is underwater, it's in a bubble of air.
That was so profound.
Right.
Was there more to that? 'Cause that was.
That's my point.
So they don't need the water.
But they're a water-based people.
You don't know that. Just because they can swim in the water doesn't mean they're water-based.
Yeah. Okay, they're good swimmers.
Okay, but Jar Jar could breathe underwater.
Yeah.
I think that's, or at least
So
could hold his
can-
breath for a very long time.
Yeah, how do you know he's breathing under there?
He could not. He could be holding his breath for a very long time.
I think they can breathe underwater, but that doesn't mean they're water-based. I think they built that city to protect them, because obviously they were able to function on the land because they had a safe place, a sacred place on the land.
Okay.
If you were an underwater-based civilization, your sacred place would be underwater.
This is
Very
all right.
true.
Very true. Okay, fair point. I didn't think about that. All right. Anyway, so yeah. Oh yeah, and then like the Gungan King. He doesn't look anything like Gungans.
Yeah, that's never
He
explained.
looks like a frog.
He looks like a frog.
Maybe that's why he's king, you know?
He's like, oh, you're a mutant. You know more than us.
Or maybe he's
Haha,
just like
King.
different, you know?
He's like the alternate form Gungan.
Yeah, maybe he's just like an evolved form. Maybe he's like a subspecies.
Subspecies.
Maybe he's originally from a different tribe.
That's true.
But like, why is he then the only one? All right, whatever.
They don't
I
have
wish
water.
that was explained, but whatever.
I'm going to find a novel about him.
Maybe that's what happens when you're not underwater long enough.
Yeah.
Your nose grows shorter and
Maybe.
I told you, I think he just got so fat that his like head covered up his snout thing.
All right, maybe. All right, we gotta wrap this up. We're already like 47 minutes.
We
in.
still have like a whole other part of the movie to talk about.
Well, I don't know. Like, this is like the good part of the movie, like where all the action happens. What do you think
Yeah.
about? Oh, so anyway, they get the Gungans' help. What do you think about Padme's plan?
It's a solid plan.
I mean, it's
It's
very
a
risky. But,
but that's what else are you gonna do?
I mean, no, yeah, that's
They
what you
use
have
their
to do.
big Gungan army to draw out the army from the city,
Right.
leaving still a fair amount inside, but enough that the secret police force that the one captain mentioned, they have at least 100 officers. That's a small enough force, but
Yeah,
you know, big enough to take a
notable.
small city.
Notable.
And so they draw out the main army with the Gungans. Then they go in. The police army causes a distraction while their pilots go up, disable the droids.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a multi-pronged assault.
Yeah, which makes sense. Also, why don't the Naboo people have an army? What happens? Like the one guy mentioned a volunteer police force. Where's the army?
I mean,
Where's the military?
It's
Where's
the
the
city.
security?
is the city of Naboo. It's kind of like,
Okay, fine, but the
where's
country's
Waynesburg's army?
no. But when you have a major city where the Queen resides,
Mm-hmm.
and if something gets taken over, the country should like take note of that.
I think at this point, galaxy-wise, there wasn't a big enough force to warrant an army.
But Naboo's such. I mean, what's the city on Naboo that they're
Naboo.
in? The city is Naboo.
I don't think
thought
the
that was
planet's
the planet.
Naboo.
I don't think they were expecting to suddenly be taken over by the Trade Federation.
Well, true, but like you'd still have an armed force in general to like. I don't know, fight with the Gungans if need
That
be.
planet didn't look very populated. I mean, later
But
on
that
in the
city
other
was
films,
huge.
well, later on in the other films, you see it populated, but
It's so big. All right, whatever.
it's a good point though. Why don't they have an army? I'm gonna say
Isn't the planet
they didn't
Naboo?
need one.
That's what I thought. That the planet's Naboo. They never
Yeah.
actually mentioned the name of the city that they're
I
in.
think it's Theed
Okay.
is the name of it.
Okay. Yeah, Holly looked that up. All right, whatever. Plot point. Anyways, so yeah, they did with the plan. It works somewhat flawlessly.
Until the Jedi run into Darth Maul
Dun dun
again.
dun dun. I love the dual lightsaber. I thought that was
Imagine
so
how much
cool.
of a shock that was if you went and saw that in theaters. Like, all you've seen so far is single
know.
lightsabers. And all of a sudden he extends the other blade and the whole theater goes crazy.
I know. I wish I was there.
And then one of the
pretty neat.
better music pieces of this whole thing.
Oh, the music by John Williams, right? That's
John
his name. Yeah,
Williams.
John Williams is fantastic. The
Yeah.
best part about this film
Oh,
is the music.
absolutely.
Yeah, John Williams is a
Amazing.
mastermind when it comes to soundtrack. And it shows here, and the duel between Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, and Darth Maul is just fantastic.
It's
Absolutely.
amazing.
The choreography, the stunts,
Yeah,
there is
really
a
good.
lot, and it's not just lightsabers and stuff. There's a lot of physical violence. Like,
Yeah, it's
4
beyond.
times Darth Maul kicks someone in the face. 4 times.
4 times.
And that fight's not that long.
Again,
No.
ballerina.
Yeah. He does this one flip at one point that we all laughed at because it had no point besides
No point.
looking dramatic and looking like a ballerina.
I think the weakest point of the choreography is Obi-Wan. Because there's some times in the film where it kind of looks like he's lazily swinging around and needlessly swinging. Like, especially against the droids. He kind of just does a loop and hits a droid. Like, there's
But
no reason
once-
for the loop.
Once he gets to the end, though, the choreography when it's just him versus Maul is some of the
it's-
best. There's
Oh,
a
yeah.
scene
Oh, yeah, that's
where
great.
Maul swings at his back and he blocks it behind him and instantly knows to bring his lightsaber to the front to block the front shot. And it's a great moment.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, very good. Probably one of the best fights in the trilogy.
No, that goes
Well, no,
to
one
Obi-Wan
of the
and
best.
Anakin.
One of the best.
One
I'm
of
not
the best.
saying the best.
Yeah,
One
well,
of the
there's
best.
not that many fights in general. There's like
Well, that's not true because you
4
have
or 5 major fights.
Darth Maul, you got the Darth's Dooku, and then you have Count Dooku, and
Yeah,
then
Darth
you have
Dooku, that just sounds ridiculous.
General Grievous,
Okay, you're right.
and then the fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin, and then Yoda versus Sidious. That really wasn't lightsabers.
I guess there's
too
2
much.
Dooku fights, so okay.
Oh, yeah, too. There was a bunch, but I think the Darth Maul and Obi-Wan fight was one of the best. Okay, moving on.
So, Qui-Gon dies.
Qui-Gon dies.
Spoiler alert.
Ooh. And then he tells Obi-Wan, "Hey, train the kid for me, please."
I mean, it wasn't
You're
just
my
a
only
death. It was a brutal death. Like, not only did he stab him, like, did you see he takes the middle of his lightsaber and hits Qui-Gon in the face, either in the face or the throat, I can't tell. But he, like, decks him with the metal part. Imagine if I smack you
Well,
with a
that
pipe.
was the day, so he hits him in the face with,
Yeah,
and then stabs
so it was
him,
brutal, too.
I won't say brutal, but that's just fine.
If I smacked you in the face with a metal pipe as hard as I could,
That's just strategic.
I mean, how else
Right
were
on
you
your
going to
nose.
distract a Jedi long
Yeah.
enough in order to stab them
yeah,
with your lightsaber?
it's
So-
not as brutal as you think, Shaner.
I don't
That's just
know.
fighting.
I'm going to hit you with a metal pipe in the nose and see how brutal
Oh, it
you
hurts.
think it is.
It wasn't
It
a
hurts.
kick.
I'm not saying
It
it's
wasn't.
not
You're
like,
right. It wasn't a kick. He should have
It's-
kicked him.
It's not like he took his lightsaber after and then diced him up in little pieces. That would be brutal.
You're right there. I don't think he had time to dice him into little pieces because that's when
He
Obi-Wan
did
comes
have
in.
some time
He
because
had some
Obi-Wan
time.
was staring
Okay.
at him for a while.
That would have been a great move. That would have made the film so much better. Is if Darth Maul just picks up his lightsaber and starts hacking away at Qui-Gon Jinn,
I feel like
taking his limbs and throwing them into the pit while Obi-Wan has to sit there and watch.
yeah,
Could you
I feel like
imagine?
Obi-Wan would have
That would have
been
made that movie R-rated.
had so
real
much
fast.
PTSD.
Hey, would it have though?
Obi-Wan could have become Darth Vader at that point.
Yeah. So then,
With all that hate.
Obi-Wan escapes from where he was trapped and, in short work, destroys Darth Maul.
Everyone, the good
Oh, yeah.
guys win. Woo!
Cut him in half.
And that was interesting because, as I mentioned while we were watching the film, Obi-Wan he's more so feeling that fight with hate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I still believe that's what led him to be more calm in the later films. Because in this film, it's established that Obi-Wan's headstrong and a little, not impulsive. What was the other word they used, Holly? It was his headstrong and
Stubborn.
stubborn. But when you see him in the later films, he's more reserved and calm and
Opened.
stay backish, kind of, if I can use that term. And I think it's because he went too far with this. Like, he's not supposed to do anything out of hate, and here he is killing a
Right.
guy out of hate. Not just killing him, chopping him in half.
Yeah.
Like, he could have stabbed it, but he went full on sliced the dude in half. So I'm going to say that's what leads to Obi-Wan becoming more reserved in the final films.
And then, yeah, the good guys win. Yippee. Do we want to comment anything else about the ending?
No, it's your standard, everyone's friends, yay.
Oh, yeah, what was that ball that, like, the Queen gave to the Gungan?
I don't think it matters.
It is ceremonial. It doesn't really matter, but, like...
It's like a peace object. It's like, hey, we gave you this. It symbolizes we're friends now.
Yeah, it was the weird orb of...
I know, I can infer that, but, like, I was just saying, like, what is it specifically? Like, they don't
I'll look it up for next time.
I definitely
Because it comes back again.
It does?
Yeah, it's in another movie.
It is?
Yeah.
I guess.
Which one?
It's either 2 or 3. Back on Naboo, and they have it again.
Interesting. Okay.
So, I think we've talked about all the major points of this movie.
Well, I do like how they're like, was this the apprentice or was this the master?
Oh yeah, that was a cool line.
Leaving you
like good old Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, Samuel Jackson. This movie. This movie actually has a lot of good actors. I mean, Ewan McGregor, who wasn't, I don't think, anything too big at the time, but now he is. Yeah. I mean, Samuel L. Jackson, Frank Oz.
Yeah, he does more of it. Like he's more of the films than like 3 and 2. So we'll leave commenting on his character for then.
So.
Oh, question. You said E.T.'s in this film, apparently.
Yes. So when in the scene in the Senate, when they have all the boxes filled with aliens, E.T. appears. Mm-hmm. And there's like 3 of his kind, quote, if you will, either just a fun cameo or leading you to believe that E.T. is a part of the Star Wars universe.
It's hard to believe that it's coincidence, I think.
Yeah. There's no reason it can't be.
Yeah. They're like not part of anything. They're just kind of in the background.
Yeah. They're just partying or something.
So the globe of peace.
See, told you, it's just a ceremonial.
Well, yes, I
symbol.
know, but like, what is it? Like,
a globe of peace.
It's just a relic. It's just a relic
it
that
just
glowed.
says, "Hey, we're at peace now."
It symbolized the years of peace that reigned on the planet. It was just like a gesture of good faith, something they could keep.
So, along with reviewing these films, we're thinking we're going to rank them.
Yeah. So, do you want to explain it since you're talking?
Yeah. So, what I think we're going to do is, since there are 11 films, 9 of the trilogy or 9 of the series, and then the 2 extras.
Yeah.
I think what we're going to do is have 11 slots in our ranking system, and each time we'll put the episode in a spot, and if we have to move it, so like let's say we put this at number 2, meaning the second worst. Then if we decide,
wait, wouldn't you put that at 9 then? Because 1 being best. That's typically okay.
No, I think 9 would be fine. Okay, 1 being best, 9 being worst. If we put it in the 9, let's say we put it in the 9th slot, we think so far it wasn't that great. It was the worst. Then maybe whenever when we watch the second movie, we decide no, that was the worst. We would move Phantom Menace up to slot number 8 and put the second movie in slot number 9. It sounds complicated.
Well,
but
11.
Really
There's 11 slots.
11, yeah, you know what I mean.
So from 10. We put it. What you're saying is when we watch the second one, you think that's where you should put Phantom Menace to 10, and then 2 and.
There's 11 movies, 11 slots, and we'll rank
pretty much,
them. Yeah. And then we should see how close it comes once we're done to our original rankings.
That's a good idea.
That we did on 2 Dudes.
I'll have to mark it down because I have notes. I always keep notes.
So where do we want to put this one?
Well, I think we all have different opinions on these movies. I know we've talked on the last episode, which you should go watch on our YouTube if you haven't watched it or listened to it. We have different ideas about the prequels. Yeah. So Holly's the only one that we don't know about.
Yeah, I personally don't think this one ranks very high compared to the others.
Fine, I'm going to put it at 10.
You're going to put it at 10? Okay, Holly, we're going to put this one. Keep in mind you can move it, but like this is just like generally what you're feeling right now.
Out of 11?
Yeah.
One being the best. I'm gonna put it at a 10 for now as well.
All right. I mean, I know what's coming up.
Yeah, so that's why I put it at 10.
I'm actually going to put it at 8.
Really?
Wow.
How
come? You want to tell us the reason?
Because I really hate the new movies.
Okay.
Because he's biased. He's one of those people.
8 is still pretty low.
He can't accept the changes.
Anyways, those are our rankings, and they will change.
Yeah, I'll mark them down, and we'll go over them at the end of each episode. But that is the end. We want to thank Holly for joining us. Are you going to join us for the rest of this, or are you just going to... This is like
if I'm around, yeah.
If you're around. I mean, you should be.
Yeah.
Unless I, chuck you off the roof.
So long as you don't do it on a Friday night, I'll be good.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I mean, do you do stuff on a Friday night, Shaner?
I should be free for whatever.
Whatever. All right.
We should plan to do this on Thursdays mostly.
Works for
Sounds
me.
good. I mean, we're going to have 11 episodes of this, so we can talk about this later. Not time for y'all. thank you for listening. If you're not already, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And thank you for listening. And keep in mind, this is only YouTube, so you're not going to see this on The Hive, where we usually record Two Dudes on the Radio. But yeah, thank you for listening. We will see you the next time, whenever that is.
Join us next weekend or next whenever in the Blanket Fort. Talk about Star Wars.
3 people in a blanket fort.
Talking about Star Wars.
Goodbye.
Peace out.
Bye.